Hello, everybody. It's Motor Ryker. Hello on this gorgeous sunny Wednesday, July the 4th. No, July the 4th, August the 4th. Um, I promised you guys some follow-up videos. So we're going to go through some of the items that I put on my Ryker and what I used. And I have some new mods on there that I also want to talk about that I didn't make a video for. Um, the first one is the suspension adjustment. Um, Once I put on my passenger seat, it's recommended to do the adjustment, um, full adjustment in terms of, I think there's 5 notches. So I adjusted my suspension to the sturdiest it can be, the tightest it can be. And it's made a huge difference just when I'm riding by myself. And when I put someone on the back, it makes a difference as well. So otherwise, I can see the back touching the fender on the Ryker. So overall, I recommend the adjustment. Um, if you're never going to put anybody on the back, you can play with it a little bit. Go to the first adjustment and then the second notch, the third notch, the fourth notch. You can try it and see how it changes the ride a little bit. Um, it's definitely been more of a stiffer ride, which is nice. At the very beginning, when I got my Ryker, it was very bouncy, and it was a comfortable ride. And not that it wasn't comfortable, it's just I wanted um a little bit of a like a sportier, sturdier suspension. So I made the full adjustment. I put on the passenger seat. It's made a huge difference. I made a video about how to adjust the suspension, and it's worked out good. Um, After I installed 2 extra mirrors from my Ryker, and I kept the side mirrors on, and then I added 2 more that I bought off of Amazon. And if you watch that video, it's made a considerable amount of improvement. I've moved my side mirrors to only look at my blind spots because the 2 mirrors that I added, perfectly look over my shoulder. So just one quick glance and not having to look all the way down, but just one quick glance, moving my eyes maybe, 1 inch to the left or right. I can completely see what's over my shoulder and what's behind me. So it's actually provided a much better view of what's going on the road. When I want to switch lanes, I always do the shoulder check. You always got to do the shoulder check. But I think having the mirrors in a tight situation, it happened to me once so far where there was a little bit of traffic on the lane going in the opposite direction of me, and somebody was making a left hand turn, and because of all the cars lined up, they couldn't really see me coming. So there's been times where my mirrors have helped. I'm coming out of a road, this person's making a left hand turn, but because of all the cars, they couldn't really see me. But I spotted them uh through the from the mirror, and I was able to swerve around and go. It's definitely been a huge upgrade. Um, I recently just finished the Ryker course at Georgian College in Barrie, Ontario. And so I have my M2, and before I started driving around, when it started getting dark, and more into hours of the day where there's less light on the road, I definitely wanted to put on these new LED lights. I made a video about the LED lights. They're biotech. They're amazingly bright. Huge difference between what was on the Ryker when it first came and between what's there now. It's night and day. Honestly, these when I put them into high beams and I'm driving down the roads, and I live in Bradford, Ontario, so there's not a lot of traffic, but there's a lot of big open roads and lots of farmland and stuff like that. When I go into high beam, I can see a lot. My field of vision has increased a lot, and I just started driving. Like I said, I just got my M2, and so I'm just starting to drive when it's darker outside, dusk and stuff like that. So I definitely recommend the LED headlights, and I recommend the added mirrors. You know, the LED headlights are a great price on Amazon. I think I bought them for 60 and change at Canadian, and the added mirrors were I think $23 on Amazon. If you look through my videos, you'll see the link for these products. I don't know if the price has changed, but these two products have made a world of difference in terms of me riding safer, being able to see more of what's going on around me, and um, the LED headlights, they're very bright, and the laws in Canada are, when you're driving during the day, you have to have your lights on. So it just makes it easier for drivers to see you out there, especially with the bright white lights. They can see you coming from kilometers away. It makes a huge difference. And I think now that I have the extra side mirrors and I have my LED headlights, I'm going to start. Um, the next thing I want to add is a muffler to increase the sound of the motorcycle. I definitely want people to hear me coming, and I want them to know that I'm in the vicinity. The Ryker right now is a little too quiet, and you want that added sound for security. You want it for protection. It makes you safer when your bike is loud enough that people can hear you. It's when your muffler is loud, and not that it has to be obnoxious. Yeah, I don't want to piss off my neighbors or anything like that. But your muffler has to be loud enough where if you're in somebody's blind spot, they will hear that you're there, and they will look because they hear something super loud right beside them. And you know, it just makes it safer for you. It makes it safer for them. Um, you know, you want to stay safe. So I haven't really chose which muffler I want to go with. I do like the price of the Branding King. The Branding King for the quality of the muffler. I love the sound, and based on the amount of people that have bought these Branding King mufflers and all the groups, the Ryker groups that I have joined on Facebook, everybody raves about it. I've very rarely seen a bad review for Branding King. So 300 US is a very good price. RLS charges almost double for their mufflers. And if you go through Sling Mods and want to get two brothers or something like that, um, they're charging more than double American. So, if the if the if the exchange rate between Canadian and American was on par, maybe I would think about getting a $600 RLS muffler. But they have and they are good products. I have nothing bad to say about Two Brothers or RLS. It's just $300 shipped for Branding King muffler, considering it comes in the matte black with the dual exhaust or single exhaust, or and there's all these different customizations that you can do. I think $300 shipped is a great price for an aftermarket muffler that's, going to save you 10 to 15 pounds versus the stock muffler, and it may add 6 to 8 horsepower on on your motorcycle, which is, you know, for something that light, 6 to 8 horsepower is not a small amount of, it's not a small improvement. And so yeah, the muffler is next. I am leaning towards the Branding King. I haven't chose that yet, but it may not be something I do this season, just because we're in August already, and depending how the weather is in Canada, I may not be able to ride past. Uh, I don't know if I can ride into September, October, maybe November. We'll see. If the weather's still good and I can get a lot of rides in, maybe I'll change the muffler. But I'm leaning towards doing that. Um, Maybe I have a big garage, so I do my work in the garage. Maybe it's something I order, Christmas time, and then it comes in, and I change my muffler out and have everything ready for the next season. Maybe I don't. But yeah, LED headlights, a must for security. They look great. There's so many headlights out there now. I know Sling Mod sells the LED, the new headlights with the daytime running lights and the signal on top of them. You know, I like that. I have some Sling Mods products. I'm gonna do a new video, but I ordered the bigger brake pad, or the bigger foot pedal for the brake from Sling Mods. It was like 30-40 bucks or something like that, American. So I put that on. I haven't really rode too much with it, and I'm going to give you guys a review on that. And I ordered their weights for the end of the handles. That's supposed to deaden vibration so that hand fatigue doesn't happen. So those are two things I have to make a video on later. I have put them on. I'm going to show you guys in another video. I'm going to go out in the garage and show you what the foot pedal, the bigger brake pedal, and the end weights look like. I kept the side mirrors on, and I put the end weights on. I don't know if I'm going to take the side mirrors off and put the end weights on that way, just because I'm kind of used to having 4 mirrors now. It's something, when you get used to it, it's hard to go down to 2 mirrors, even though the new ones I put on are very big and I could still see my blind spots and my over my shoulder and behind me. So that's something I'm gonna have to that's definitely something I'm gonna have to play with. But yes, I will be making a video on the bigger brake pad, and I will be making a video on the end weights, and if they really do help with hand fatigue. But definitely go out and get LED headlights. Get the cheaper ones off of Amazon. Sling Mods is a little expensive. And get the extra mirrors. You may spend a total of 80 to 100 bucks Canadian on Amazon, but it's well worth it. You can't put a price on safety, and I definitely recommend those products. Another modification or product that I put onto my bike was the Tough Skinz insulation for the, let me bring it up here. So the Tough Skinz insulation that I put into my front trunk, it's actually worked very well, to be honest with you guys. I measured the degrees. I put a thermometer in there and I closed it and I drove around, and the temperature doesn't get that hot anymore. It's made a huge difference. Before, it used to be roasting in that front trunk, like roasting in the front trunk. Um, and now it's not so bad. So if you're the type of person like me, I like to put things in there. It makes me nervous when it gets really hot. I don't want anything to melt or catch on fire for whatever it is. But once I added this, it made a huge difference. So, I like to ride and, go grab a burger, put it in there, drive home, or ride to Subway and grab a sandwich and put it in there and ride back, for little rides like that. Um, by the way, a full foot long sub perfectly fits in the Ryker 900. And it's definitely worked out. It's definitely worked out. It's not a very expensive thing to order off of Sling Mods, and I think it's worth the value. I like to put a lot of things in there. If you like to put a drink in there, it's not going to keep your drink cold, but when you if you put like a Snapple iced tea or a Coca-Cola in there, it by the time you take it out, it's not going to be, you know, 1,000 degrees drinking it hot. It's still going to be relatively cool, and it's not bad. I definitely recommend it. I like to do little rides and go pick up lunch or pick up dinner, grab something for myself and put it in there and ride back. So it's definitely made a difference. I recommend it. I only recommend it because it's not super expensive on Sling Mods, and it's something that's worth the money. Just like I ordered the weights for the end of the handle. I'm gonna see how that works, just because it wasn't that all that expensive. I don't like some of the things on Sling Mods. They're very expensive. But yeah, the front trunk insulation worked good. The these mirrors, if you haven't seen, well, we're gonna go to the extra mirrors. So these are the extra mirrors, and it's been well worth it, to be honest with you. It's been well worth it. You can see in this shot how I can see my arm, my lower arm, and I can see right over my shoulder. It's a good $20 spent. The link is under the video, and they're fully adjustable. They tilt, they move. It's very good. And the LED lights. Check out the difference. It's literally night and day. It's the one thing about these lights is you'll notice that when you're holding them, there's a metal plate, and based on if it's up or down, it reverses or it keeps your high beam and low beam set to where it should be. If you invert it, it reverses your high beam and low beam. So that's one thing to think about when you're putting these in. You want to put these in properly, and it's a very small adjustment. There's my little guy Charlie, and you can see it here. I think I do hold it up. There it is. So you can see in this video, there's a metal plate. And if it's pointing up or pointing down, it may change your high beam and low beam. So you definitely want to install it properly. And you can watch this video, and because I didn't know initially, I had installed one facing up and then the other one facing down, and I saw which one was the right one, and then I just changed the other one. So LED headlights, I definitely recommend for safety. Very good price. I believe it was $60. And the other thing that I did because I noticed a lot of stuff was accumulating in my radiator in terms of bugs, bees, all sorts of different things. And pebbles were flying off of there just because your radiator is so low to the ground. Um, I ordered this mesh, and this mesh comes in all sorts of different sizes, as you can see here. And what I did was I ordered the bottom middle one, which is the 6 by 12 millimeter rhombic size, which is this one. And I made myself a custom grill. And let me see if I can load that up here. And all I did was I took the front piece off. And once I took it off, I turned it around, I put it on my table, and basically I just measured around. I bent. This is, it's it's fairly strong, but it's easily bendable. So I bent it exactly where I needed to cut it. And once I cut it around, and I basically just made this shape that came down this way. And once I cut it, um, I just zip tied in places where it wasn't very visible. So I put two zip ties, two zip ties, two zip ties, and then I did two bigger, thicker zip ties at the side. So, and you can barely notice that it's there. Uh, when you look from far away, you see the black mesh. So this is another view, what it looks like. It's a little blurry, but it's barely noticeable and it looks great. I love it. It's peace of mind for me. Driving up in, places where there's a lot of farms and a lot of loose gravel and rocks and things like that. It's just peace of mind for me. I don't want to have to replace a radiator because that radiator is so soft. Honestly, there was there was two huge bumblebees stuck in my radiator, and all I did was I took the smallest flathead screwdriver I had, and I picked the dead body out, and me just sticking my flathead in there and just picking this bee out, it like I just saw everything bend so easily in that radiator. That I don't know what that metal is made out of, but it doesn't seem like it's very soft metal, and it moved around very easily. So um this mesh I think was around it says here 29.99. So it's a great price. I got a one big sheet for 29.99, and then I cut it into the size that I wanted to. There won't be a lot left over once you cut it to size. And it's a great investment. I'm gonna make a video and show you guys what the grill looks like now that the mesh is behind there, so you guys can see. But it's something you could do yourself. I think it took me somewhere around 45 minutes to, take the front piece off and cut the grill mesh down to size, and then zip tie everything and put it back in. So I think it took me roughly around 45 minutes. And I'm not very inclined, you know, mechanically. It's not a very hard thing to do. I definitely recommend something like this. There's a lot of people selling custom grills and LEDs and all that other stuff. Those are really good options too. One way or another, you should protect your grill. You should protect your radiator. The parts on the Ryker are very expensive, so if you do what you got to do, you know, whether you find some spare metal at, you know, a metal shop or junkyard, you can find a metal like this very easy. And one thing else I did was I ordered the K&N filters. Uh, I only ordered one. I didn't order two. I only put it on the air intake side. I didn't put it on the CVT side, which this is the same size for both sides. You can order two and then just put them in. I will eventually probably end up doing that because I've noticed the sound changed very slightly after I put this in. I don't know if it's because the air intake is better, more air is getting through, but this is a lifetime product. I won't have to replace this. I can clean it and keep using it. But, um, it's a little bit better performance. It boosts horsepower a little bit. And like I said, on a bike like this where you have, maybe 85 to 90 horsepower, 5 or 6 horsepower is a big boost. So, if you end up changing your exhaust to get a, 6 to 8 horsepower boost, and then you put a K&N, and these things, there's videos on the K&N filters. I believe there's accounts on YouTube where they put the Rykers on a dyno, and then they've put K&N and different mufflers, based, whether it's Two Brothers or RLS or Brandon King, they've put different mufflers on, and they've put the Rykers on a dyno, and you could see the horsepower boost. And like I said, for a product that comes with, 80 to 90 horsepower, adding 5 here, adding 5 there makes a big difference. For people who have done a lot of things like, put in a filter, change the exhaust, they notice that they're spinning their back tires a lot. That's one of those things, when you take off a muffler that weighs 20 to 25 pounds and you replace it with something that weighs 10 to 12, and there's not a lot of weight on that back tire, which gives it less traction. If there's less weight on the back tire, there's less traction. And, you will end up spinning your tires more with more horsepower, less weight, less traction. It's inevitable. So these are all the things that you need to take into account when you're doing these modifications on the Ryker. I'm not too crazy on my Ryker. I don't ever spin my wheels. I'm looking to get out there and ride and have fun, and I'm not about, being loud and obnoxious and doing crazy things. So I'm very smooth on the throttle taking off, so I've never spun my wheels, but it's very easy to do on the Ryker. So for me, these modifications like mufflers and the air intake, the washable, reusable performance, filters are not a big deal for me because I'm very smooth off the throttle. I don't like to go crazy. I'm not flying around turns and things like that. So if you're like me, I recommend all these products. This filter is $65. It's a great price. This mesh is $29.99. It's a great price. And the LEDs are a great price, in and around $60. The extra mirrors, in and around $23. Great price. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be safe and have fun and make things look great. And once I'm done, I also put on a new horn, which makes a big difference too. The Wallow low tone, huge difference. I didn't like that Mimi. I didn't like that Roadrunner horn that came with the Ryker. Like, honestly, I was looking for like a small boat horn. I love how those things go. Like, I love that sound, but couldn't really find anything for the motorcycle, so I ended up going with the Wolo low tone, which is very loud, very noticeable when you honk your horn and guys are getting too close to you on the road or they're about to cut you off. They know that you're there, but you definitely need the muffler too. So let me know if you guys have any questions about any of the modifications that I've made to my bike. Future modifications, like currently I did put the bigger brake pedal. I have added the weights on the end of the handlebars to deaden some of the hand fatigue and the vibration. I will be going for a new muffler eventually. And right now I'm working on some decals. And if you guys check out my Facebook page, Motor Ryker on Facebook, you guys can see a lot of my designs. And you guys help me choose what you guys think is best. I've come up with a lot of different designs, and I know somebody who can print vinyl. I've already put a couple of stickers on there, Ryker stickers, but yeah. Now that safety's done, I'm looking to improve the look of the bike, which is my favorite part. I want to wrap a lot of stuff. So come along with me on the trip. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. So I know you guys are tuning in, you guys are invested, you guys like it. So I'll see you guys soon. Take care, ride safe. Motor Ryker, right to ride.